how to make a homemade address yard sign. We picked up some different pieces that we'd had already, and we hand drew some numbers in a piece of hardwood. Hardwood's probably a better choice to make so it won't fall apart on you. And then we got that scarfed out, and you can see how we started taking the pieces apart there. We'll finish those letters out today, the numbers. And then we found some couple different pieces of wood here in the yard, so we'll make a holder for the address, and then we're going to make the background placard out of this old pallet. After careful jigsawing out the letters, the numbers, keep making that mistake. After jigsawing those numbers out, you end up with like a rough looking number, and you got to clean up all these edges and sand them up real nice. And they'll get there, but on the outside of the numbers, use a flat file and file the edges a little bit with the flat file. And then on the inside, use a round, I put a piece of sandpaper on a screwdriver, and you can get down in between the inside of the numbers real well with probably a 80 grit I'm using. I measured the comfortable distance that the numbers would need to fit on the back of the sign hanging, and I just came up with about 27 inches. So it looks like a comfortable, nice width for the numbers to sit on the back. And then I'm going to go over to the pallet and cut those at 27 inches. So I cut 3 pieces out of the pallet, and then I cut them at the 27 inches. And then I ran a little bit of a staggered edge here, just to kind of rough it up a little bit. And then we're going to set up the back piece to hold them all together, and then we're going to stain the front black. So I'm using oak pallet material, and I'm using a construction pencil for the spacing, and I'm also running a pilot hole into the back cleat that'll secure the pieces together horizontally and make it hold up real well through the weather with these screws I've got here. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to put a cleat on each end of this work. I applied a black stain on the oak wood and just brushed it in a little bit, not all the way, and then took a rag with paint thinner and evened out the coat on that. So it should be good. Gave it some character. As it dries out, it'll show a little bit more of the graininess of the oak, and that's what I wanted. I found a good exterior white paint, water-based paint, and I painted the sides of the numbers first, and then I'm going to finish off with the top face of the number, and then I'll continue on with the rest of them. I'm using some 1 3/4 inch stainless steel screws, and those are only 1/4 inch that are going to go into the oak backing. So I'm going to run that pilot hole there with that bit and get those screw holes a little deeper so they can go into that back oak panel a little better. So we set the pilot hole for the screws and ran that down a little bit, and then set those screws in there. And this is the finished product before we start mounting the sign on the post. So there you go. So I dug a hole about 2 feet deep into the easy digging soil here, and then I put about a bucket of rock and granite and packed it in there with the back end of my shovel, and then set this top up with a little brace and leg bolted that in. I ran a 1/2 inch through bolt in the middle and tightened that up real good. Then I put a support piece in here so it won't jiggle on the end. Then I put a couple eye bolts underneath there. And now it's ready for total assembly with the address. So this is the final look. I used rope to suspend it, and then I did some little bit of trickery on the wire ties here to get it to hang more vertically, and did some other tweaking here, but hopefully you like it. Subscribe to my channel, like it, make a comment. Anyway, there it is.